Hello and welcome to Box, where we unbox, review and demonstrate the latest tech. Today we have with us this BenQ MOBIUZ EX3410R curved gaming monitor. With ultra-wide, curved gaming monitors becoming a must-have centerpiece in any PC gaming setup, this beautiful 2022 display from BenQ gives you everything you need in varying sizes and specs to help immerse you fully into your favourite games. Taking a look at the outside of the box, you'll find all the signs of a good gaming monitor, from 144Hz max refresh rate all the way down to that 1 millisecond response time. Opening it up, you'll find all the accessories and stand in the opening, with the monitor sitting just underneath. I was happy to see that you get a good selection of cables, including an HDMI, DisplayPort and USB-B to make the most of those onboard USB ports. I was even surprised to see the inclusion of a handy little remote for navigating menus more directly rather than fiddling around with the controls on the display. The stand comes in two parts, with the back arm simply clicking into place and the V-shaped base screwing into the bottom. Though the stand does fix to the back using a lever system rather than a much sturdier screw, it does hold the weight easily, allowing me to feel comfortable lifting and maneuvering the whole monitor with just the arm. The monitor is powered by this large power adapter with a decently long cable attached. Though a little bulky, it's great for reaching to a power outlet located further away while still offering enough length to place the adapter out of sight of the display. In terms of connections, you get all of your inputs lined up neatly in the center on the back, consisting of a power supply on the left, two 2.0 HDMIs, a DisplayPort, a headphone jack, a USB-B port, and two 3.0 USBs. Though I would have preferred two DisplayPorts, it's still great to get both HDMIs, especially when considering connecting to an Xbox and a second monitor. Just looking at the overall design, it's nicely balanced between the gamer and standard display look. This space grey finish is consistent across the back and stand, which I prefer to see more over the standard black you usually get. One of my favourite parts of this design is the beautiful cross in the centre that houses the thin LED lighting on the points, allowing you to alter the colour to best match the theming of your setup. The lighting is customisable right down to the colour and pattern, which is brilliant for those who wanted to match the colour scheme they already have going. The branding here is pretty subtle, only showing off a small polished MOBIUZ logo on the back and a raised BenQ logo on the bottom left on the front. Now just above the stand, you'll notice a large rectangular speaker. It's stamped with the Trevolo logo, dubbed as superior sound. If the size is any indication to the power of the sound output, I'm intrigued to see how good it plays out. Now I love that the speaker has been placed on the back here. I found it bounces the sound nicely off the wall at the back, enhancing the audio just that bit more than the other displays that I've tried out. Sitting it on the desk, the monitor does easily take up a lot of room with that large 34-inch size. Even on this large desk, it dominates the space, so if you're considering this monitor, just make sure you take its size into consideration. The stand's V-shape does protrude a little on the desk, measuring at just under 22 inches across the widest point and just under 11 inches deep. The monitor itself only has a small amount of adjustability. The swivel for left and right is decent enough, with about 15 degrees either way, but the up and down tilt is limited to the slightest adjustment. The height adjustment is about 100mm, which is good enough either way for both the short and tall users out there. As a slightly tall person myself, I found that even on the tallest height adjustment, it was just perfect for my eyeline. Controlling the monitor was easy enough with two ways to access and navigate the onboard menu. There are three buttons on the underside of the display to the right, the left one for changing inputs, the middle one acting as a 5-way controller for navigating the menu, and the right button for turning the display on and off. I like how vastly different each button feels, making it so much easier to find the right one just by touch alone. Now this monitor prides itself in having HDRi technology. There's even a specific button for accessing the various modes on the front of the display to alter it to best fit what you're watching. It goes hand in hand with the sensor on the front for adapting HDR style and quality depending on the light conditions. I've always found HDR on other monitors to be a bit hit and miss, so even going into this monitor with a skeptical view, I was genuinely surprised to find it worked exceptionally well. I had HDR active the entire time I used the monitor, and when I turned it off, I could clearly see the work it was putting in. As it's all done intelligently, it did seem to fix the common issues that I usually get. Instead of getting either a washed out image for movies or an exaggerated level of contrast in games, it seemed to nicely enhance colours and blacks best for the content thanks to the specific cinema, game and standard display modes. Of course, I was limited to which refined settings I could customize, like brightness, gamma and contrast for example, when in HDR mode, but to be honest, I preferred having the intelligent HDR to do its magic in delivering its best picture automatically without me spending hours making alterations myself. Taking a look at the display in general, the screen space is utilised to the full, offering a nice thin bezel with extra allowance on the bottom for housing the sensor and accompanying buttons. Of course, as mentioned before, I made sure I had HDR enabled from the start, but I also got into the settings to allow the max 144Hz refresh rate to make gaming as smooth of an experience as possible. For the display specifications, you get a 34-inch 3440 by 1440 resolution VA LED backlit panel. It is an ultrawide 21:9 ratio with a 1000R curvature. For complete immersion and ultimate eye comfort, not only is there additions in place to enhance gameplay like the AMD FreeSync Premium Pro, eye care tech, and 1 millisecond MPRT, it's also perfectly equipped for creative work and watching movies thanks to the 90% DCI P3 colour for pinpoint accuracy. Of course, it's largely gaming focused, trying to give you enough control over the display output, viewing angle, and brightness to help keep you just as comfortable at your desk as you would be lounging on a sofa. But the main selling point for me is of course the curvature and wide aspect ratio. I felt even for general browsing and office work, I could easily open multiple windows and have them sit side by side without compacting the windows into a thin format. Now I know there's a limit to what you can watch in this ultra-wide format. Only certain PC and console titles support ultra-wide gaming, and even only certain movies are available in this 21:9 format. But doing a quick search through Netflix, I found a good handful of new and old movies that let me enjoy the full experience, and most games I downloaded from the Xbox Game Pass for PC either switch to 21:9 automatically or let me play in ultra-wide after adjusting the display settings in the game menu without any distortion. I have to admit, all the hype around monitors like this do hold up to expectations. With more room to play with, the open road on Forza Horizon 5 felt expansive, and having a wider field of vision in shooters gave me that edge when honing in on those hard to see opponents. The OSD on this monitor is very user-friendly. It feels modern with the quick toggle switches, clean angular lines, and a colour scheme that match the display for consistent theming. It's relatively simple with 6 or so controls that break down into further expanding menus depending on the level of customization that I wanted to get into. Though I didn't use it, I did also like seeing the option of using picture-in-picture if I wanted it. I had eye care and FreeSync enabled, and I know on some monitors it is sometimes hard to figure out if it's turned on or not, but on this monitor I loved having the little pop-up icons and text in the bottom right reminding me when I turned off the feature and when eye care is adjusting the screen. I found it also helpful to have the colour and audio mode, HDR, resolution and refresh rate status visible at the top of the menu at all times. Even though it's a small convenience, it's good to keep track of what the display is outputting, especially when trying to match game settings to my display. When it comes to overall brightness, you do get a max 400 nits output. With HDR enabled, the brightness is fixed to max, which I found to be the best level for both bright and dark light conditions. During the day, with multiple lights turned on, I did find the glare on this matte display to be a little distracting at times, especially with the curved nature and if the light is quite harsh. But in a dark room, I got the best out of the colour and contrast, offering consistent light and shadow and some amazing sharp vibrant colours. You do get a 170-degree viewing angle, so the view is detailed no matter how you swivel it left and right. I even put it through a quick light bleed, blooming and dead pixels test, and luckily I saw no inconsistencies straight out of the box. Getting into the sound, you get two 2-watt built-in speakers as well as a 5-watt woofer. I was honestly blown away by the sound output. It was borderline cinematic with clear, detailed audio in movies and games, largely thanks to the multitude of audio presets on offer. The volume goes up to about 50 max, and turning it up full, I enjoyed the rip-roaring bass from the engine as I tore through the streets in Forza. There is a significant difference in the levels when switching between the modes, bringing out the gunfire more in games on FPS, and of course a good amount of deep bass for music and cinematic movies in the cinema and pop modes. I know it's hard to take my word for it, so here's a quick sound sample to give you an idea on the audio quality on offer here.
Adam! Roger that.
Finally, let's get into the gaming experience on offer. Playing a wide variety of PC titles, I got a nice consistent performance throughout thanks to the adaptive HDRi tech. Even playing a newer title like Forza Horizon 5, I could play in ultra quality and not see any serious lag, tearing or stuttering, which is amazing for the size of this display. It's even suggested to work with gaming consoles using HDMI connection. Hooking up this Xbox Series X, I could play at a comfortable 1080 or 1440p at 120Hz, playing titles like Forza Forza Horizon 5. It worked best in the lower resolution, with the 4K at 60Hz looking a little less smooth. It's not really compatible with an ultra-wide monitor though, as it does essentially just stretch the 16:9 aspect ratio to fit the screen rather than adapting to the full 3440x1440 resolution. But even with the slight distortion, I thought it was still decent enough to play, but by no means comparable to the quality achieved on a 4K TV. Of course, you'll need to disable HDR to get more range over the picture style, brightness, and tuning lights and blacks, but it's a small sacrifice for better control. Though I like being able to utilise the dual purpose for my display and to get to use my controller over the keyboard, I did prefer the higher quality output from the PC, and as I'm using Xbox Game Pass for PC anyway, I enjoyed the full display quality available through the DisplayPort over the HDMI connection with the console. So after using this monitor for a good few hours, I thoroughly enjoyed this premium setup experience. The size and curvature felt just right, and the addition of the intelligent HDR really refined my overall opinion of HDR in general, finally feeling the full effect of the depth and colour it can provide across various content. It was easy to navigate the OSD thanks to the addition of the remote, and I loved the levels of customization available for the display quality. So if you're looking to delve into the market of ultra-wide curved monitors, this one sets the bar for the potential you can achieve in both gaming and watching movies. For a completely detailed, rich and immersive gaming experience, this one should tick the boxes when finding the perfect fit for your PC setup. So what are your thoughts on this BenQ EX3410R gaming monitor? Let us know in the comments below, and if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Box, where we have plenty of hands-on reviews on the latest tech. And as always, thanks for watching.